Let's have a call to order, please. Monthly meeting of the South Strabane Township Board of Supervisors. Roll call. We have 4 supervisors present. We have 1 on telephone. That's Russ Grego for this evening. We also have our township manager, our assistant to the manager. We have our township solicitor. We also have our township engineer. And we have our township financial analyst, and we have our township chief of police. We're all counted for. Thank you. Before the meeting this evening, I'd like to mention to you an executive session concerning litigation and personnel. Would you please stand for the pledge of allegiance? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Number 3, public comment time. The Township Board of Supervisors allocates a period of time during this item for those individuals who would like the opportunity to address the Board of Supervisors on any matter. Each person addressing the Board of Supervisors has to limit their comments to a maximum of 3 minutes. And so my fellow board members know Cindy Rossi had asked for a few extra minutes beyond the 3, and I've granted that for this evening. What do we have? Brandon, who's first?
I think that's all we have.
Cindy, we go.
Thank you. Good evening. Cynthia Rossi, 99 Zediger Station Road, Washington, Pennsylvania. Township resident, 30 years. Volunteer for township activities, most of the 30 years. Yesterday, I checked the agenda for tonight's meeting and discovered a resolution to dissolve the sanitary authority. We ask why, and then why the sanitary authority was not advised of any concerns you might have. Sometime later, tonight's agenda was amended to include the township signing an agreement for construction of the manifold force main upgrade project at a cost of over $877,000, a cost that does not include the impending 20% increase in the cost of materials that was to have gone into effect about 3 Fridays ago. It appears that someone has advised you that the sanitary authority is not willing to participate in this project, and that is patently incorrect. The Sanitary Authority Board is highly aware of its ethical, legal, and fiduciary responsibilities in all matters. Unfortunately, we have waited for 2 developers since 2 developers met with us last summer for signed memorandums of understanding, or MOAs, followed by the developers agreements. We are still waiting. I submit to you this evening copies of the September 14th memo of understanding provided by our solicitor to the developers, and a copy of his correspondence to Meadows Landing, and the enclosed developers agreement dated November 14th. To my best knowledge, we are still waiting. With only $660,000 in cash assets, and I'll just take a break here to tell you that when we did 15 homes and the township building on that small part of Floral Hill Drive, the cost was somewhere in the range of, I believe, $350,000 altogether. So just a little bit costs a lot. And that's why having 660, which sounds like a vacation in Paris, is not in the work that we do. We can't take a risk that might preclude another worthy project, thus the need for upfront monetary participation from the developers, which is all we were asking for, and the signed agreements, of course. I have successfully negotiated with the overseer of our small water and sewer grant the following: extension of the deadline on multiple occasions. This was granted in late 18 and We were to have it done within a year. I have gone back to the well many times, and right now we are on the final extension until this coming June 30th. We also received permission to apply our remaining $306,000 of grant money to assist these developers, and permission to deal with the inaccuracies and underestimated costs for engineering, an 18% underestimation of the length of the pipe. The grant was for 4,000 feet of pipe, and the true estimate is over 4,800 feet of pipe. Then we've had the pandemic and cost increases and length of pipe by the engineering firm that prepared the grant proposal, and other factors such as their omission of costs for inspections during construction. The developers need to sign a developer's agreement with the sanitary authority, and then they can present the agreement to the East Washington Joint Authority, so a capacity letter can be granted, and then they can, according to our ordinances, receive a final approval for the project. And at the December 2nd Planning Commission meeting, which I viewed on the computer, the engineer for Meadows Landing Development told the commission that they did not know who to write the check to. There has never been any confusion. The agreement and the check is between the developer and the Township Sanitary Authority. The Planning Commission unanimously voted to deny recommending approval of the project to the Board of Supervisors because DEP approvals were not yet obtained, and the capacity letter to Ouija was not obtained and could not be obtained without the execution of a developer's agreement. In addition, it's odd that the Township webpage and Facebook both have volunteer opportunities listed for the Sanitary Authority, which you seek to abolish this evening. And therefore, I submit the letter that Mr. Stanek requested. I also submit the letter Mr. Stanek requested for my consideration for appointment to the authority. And I submit a copy of my response for inclusion in its entirety in the transcript and minutes of tonight's meeting. I will give you copies of what I just read. There's one for each of you. In addition, here are copies, excuse me, of the correspondence that I mentioned, the letter from Mr. Carroll and the different agreement drafts. And you'll see the dates on those. And then my last piece of information, I'm sorry I'm reading so slow. I'm having a vision problem in my left eye, which is a little more than scary. And the letter that I sent to Mr. Stanek reads, appointment to the board of the South Strabane Township Sanitary Authority in February 2017, as requested.
I can hear it. I don't think it is.
Check it.
What it's doing is it's going into the audio for the Zoom. So that's fine. She's
is
being
on.
picked up. She's being picked
She's
up.
being
correct?
picked up, yeah.
Thank you.
Am I talking too low?
No,
No, you're
good. I
fine.
can
It
hear
just
you.
wasn't amplified and he thought it was turned off, but
Thank you.
it's working.
As requested by 4 supervisors, has proven to be a worthwhile and fulfilling way of serving our community. The authority is perhaps at its best functioning level in recent decades due to the diligence and understanding of both civic and fiduciary responsibilities of the current board, every one of us. In August 2017, following a board reorganization, I was elected to serve as secretary treasurer, and in January of 2019, the board approved my offer to perform day-to-day functions, a role I have donated strictly as a volunteer for the past 3 years. And in addition to this, in calculating the mileage that I drove for the Township Sanitary Authority last year, it came out to exactly 1,010 miles. You may say, where did she go, California? No, that's me to the auditor, me to the accounting firm, me to Staples 3 times a week, me up here about every other day, every couple days. all as a volunteer, no reimbursement and no tax deduction. Here, and using my phone, etc., to take calls. In some of the many accomplishments since February 17th, and I give these accomplishments as a credit to all of us, not just Cynthia singularly. Number one, improved service to residents and improved manner in which services are delivered. The prior ill will has been eradicated by showing respect, patience, and kindness to all members of our community. Number two, discovery of a dozen properties that were never billed for the cost of the 2009 line extension along East Bow Street resulted in all being added to routine billing through the Washington East Washington Joint Authority's billing system. This billing, a collection of all payments to our authority and remittance to our authority with complete record keeping, costs less than $90 a month and provides accurate, comprehensive monthly reports. The action eliminated the intrusion of residents coming into the township's front desk and utilizing the time of employees to receive payment and issue receipts, and then provide that information to the authority. Number three, transfer of all accounting procedures, including checkbook management, to Cipher and Cipher at a savings of 300% and an accuracy rate of 100%. Number four, clean audits for all years. Number five, joining the Pennsylvania Association of Municipal Authorities has allowed our board to be better informed of statewide developments, issues, and successes in the municipal authority world. Number six, insurance savings of 20% and a coverage increase of 300% by transferring to our state association's insurer. Number seven, development of new forms for reporting payments to the Redevelopment Authority of Washington County, which I'm going to mention in a minute because this is critical, for the Racetrack Road project tapping. Forms for both residential and commercial taps, and forms to be used to inform the authority of possible new development within the township to help close the information chain gaps and facilitate improved planning for capacity. Number eight, development of a more professional image through use of a logo and stationery. Number nine, development of an initial comprehensive map of the township's sanitary sewer system, which never existed before the last 18 months. Number 10, discovery of over $125,000 of payments owed to but never remitted to the Redevelopment Authority, resulting from 6 months of scouring all disparate, unorganized records dating to 2005, and all monies were repaid and all records are now deemed accurate and complete to date. And it took me 6 months of sitting on the floor at my house to do that because I had junk everywhere. That is how record keeping was. Number 11, number 11, discovery of 2 properties along East Bow Street whose owners refused to connect to the 2009 line extension. Although mandated by law and ordinance, and assistance from Mr. Stanek resulted in the connection of both properties in 2019. Number 12, establishment of office space in the municipal building. Number 13, beginning of a comprehensive, accurate filing system for 52 years of information, which I threw out unused checks from 3 banks that no longer exist, dating back to the early 1980s. Number 14, the discovery of the authority having 2 EIN numbers for decades led to the correction of the matter in which the authority's main funds were not legally under the authority's control and custody. And this also resulted in the transfer of checking accounts to West Banco and the elimination of all banking fees, including fees for printed checks, and an outstanding improvement in service. Number 15, elimination of a consultant in August 2017 has resulted in a savings of $93,600 and improvements on all conceivable levels of service and functions. In addition to the initiation of participation in the above areas of improvement, I perform routine functions, including number 1, processing all invoices and issuing check requests to Cipher and Cipher, and then sending all bills to be paid to the board for approval. They get to see everything. Every invoice is with me in a folder in case anyone wants to examine or question. Number 2, interacting with residents, the township management, employees, bankers, closing companies, and others seeking information or assistance from the authority. Number 3, responsibility for preparing and providing any and all requested information to both the accounting firm and the auditing firm. Number 4, all other day-to-day functions and interactions with fellow board members. It has been an honor to participate in civic betterment as well as the most fascinating and personally fulfilling journey. And then I concluded, because this was for reappointment, thank you for your kind consideration of my reappointment. I sent this to Brandon. I left it up here on the 30th of November, taped to our door. I don't know if you've received your copies. I didn't bring any extras tonight, but Brandon, I'm sure, can provide you with that. Now that I've talked and talked and talked, and I apologize, but I felt you needed to know all of this. And I go back to my question. With people doing this much work, all of us, why didn't anyone reach out to us? Why was there no communication? Our board meetings are open. People know where to find me any other time. They know where to find Ron. You know, for all that, Ron is a brilliant man. He's our chairman. He has the flu tonight. We have another board member who is not here because of the family situation. And none of us had information. And Ed is our vice chairperson, and he did not know. And he's been a loyal volunteer to this township for most of his adulthood in the township.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Anybody else would like to speak?
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, let's move on. Number 4, meeting minutes. Need a motion to approve the Board of Supervisors regular meeting minutes dated November 23rd, 2021.
So moved.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Murphy. Any discussion? We're going to try to listen to you where you vote there, Russ, okay? We'll let Brandon pay attention. All those in favor of the motion on the minutes, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Russ. Motion carries 5-0. Well, number 5, financial business. Approval of payroll for the periods October 31st through November 13th, 2021, and November 14th through November 27th, 2021, and bills for the period November 20 through December 10, 2021. Need a motion, please.
I'll make that motion.
Thanks, Mr. Murphy.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Mr. Lukatich. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Thank you, Russ. Those opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Number 6, announcements. Brandon, do we have any announcements this evening?
No, with the upcoming holidays, we'll be closed on Christmas Eve this year because it is the day before Christmas, and Christmas falls on a Saturday. We'll also be closed on the Monday following, so on the 27th, because of the vacation of the day after Christmas falls on a Sunday, so we will observe that on Monday. And we will also be closed on Friday, December 31st, in observance of the New Year's holiday. Wishing everybody have a holiday.
Thanks. Okay, 7, township reports and presentations. MS4 report, the Board of Supervisors allocates a period of time during this item for comments regarding the topic of stormwater. Each person addressing the Board of Supervisors is asked to limit their comments to a maximum of 3 minutes. Mr. Stanek, we have anyone that wants to address this?
You on Zoom, Jim? No? Okay.
Okay, thank you. Township manager report.
No report tonight.
Thank you. Secretary Treasury report.
Has been submitted for the board's consideration.
Thank you. Township solicitor, Mr. Maple.
The office has been involved in matters involving road crew negotiations, issues involving developments, some litigation issues, and other miscellaneous items for the township. That's all I got, Mr. Weber.
Thank you, Mr. Maple. Well, Kevin, township engineer, you have anything?
Our report's been submitted. We'd be happy to take any questions you may have.
Anyone on the board have any questions, Kevin's report? Thank you, Kevin. Merry Christmas. Unfinished business, number 8. Let's move on to number 9, new business. Resolution granting preliminary and final land development approval of Washington Hyundai for a car dealership expansion for the property located at 305 Washington Road in the C2 Commercial Zoning District. Mr. Stanley, you want to brief us, or do we have somebody
Yeah,
here?
I'll defer to Mr. Morasic if you want to present real quick.
I'd be happy to. You should have received the packet of information. When we talk about it being an expansion, we're really not going outside of the footprint of the dealership except for a very small area of a car delivery location. It should be detailed in the information that we've already provided. It's the manufacturer has asked us to upgrade the facility. And what we're doing is simply expanding the, if you've been there and you understand how there is a part of the roof that sticks out over the sidewalk. They want us to expand the showroom to the edge of the sidewalk. That's what we're doing. In addition, they've asked us to convert what is essentially 2 outdoor parking spaces into an indoor car delivery area. And that's the extent of what we're asking for. We'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have. With me tonight is Gary Flannery, our manager of the operations for the dealership. And our architect is also here. So we'll be happy to answer any questions, but I'm hoping that you will find this is a pretty straightforward product.
Move to approve.
May I ask questions first?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, go ahead.
Is it 2 stories, 1 story?
I'll go ahead and let Gary can explain more too.
2 stories.
To the delivery center is underneath and Sharon will push back a little bit above it.
What's gonna be on top?
The extended showroom.
On top.
Yes.
Above. Like,
The delivery
so
center.
both, you're not putting anything above, it's gonna be a 1 story or 2 story?
That building is built into the hillside. So the access to the delivery center will be around the back on the lower level. And then the showroom level, which is the ground level from the called building in the front that faces the Honda dealership. That's, if we call that the ground level, and this is the basement, right? It would be the basement and then the first floor. Yeah, so to answer, there will be no additional height.
Going up, you're going down in the ground.
Yes, you have to go.
And I'm not telling from this, but I did come out and look at the drawing, so there's gonna be restrooms in there in one of the basement or the.
Yes.
And just, do you know, like the foot's like square footage off the top of your head or not?
30 by 40
Okay.
30 by 40 per floor.
We have to meet all of Hyundai's requirements as well as labor industry requirements for restroom accessibility. Which we've done.
Thank you.
Is it? Anything, Mr. Lincoln, that's it?
No.
I don't have anything in, Mr. Burns, will you make the motion again, please, so we can move forward?
Leave the motion was in order when I made it, but I will make it again. I move to approve.
Thank you very much.
Second.
Need a second, Mr. Murphy, thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Okay, let's move on to letter B, resolution authorizing directing the termination of the South Strabane Township Sanitary Authority and directing the conveyance by the South Strabane Township Sanitary Authority to South Strabane Township of all established projects of the authority and all authority assets.
So presented for the board's consideration is the resolution doing just that, prepared by Solicitor Makel. The action has been prepared at the request of the board to accomplish 4 things. One is to improve efficiency in the financing of new sanitary sewer systems, as well as expand capacity of existing lines. Eliminate the duplication of services, which can be reasonably absorbed by the township. Streamline processes for new commercial and residential development. Consolidate the authority and control of development in South Strabane.
The resolution is presented was requested by the township. There are some significant aspects to it. Section 1 talks about indebtedness, says the authority should take all necessary steps to pay all outstanding indebtedness, interest thereon, so forth in terms of bonds. That's to be accomplished by 10 a.m. December 21st, 2021. Section 2, take authority to take all necessary actions to deposit sufficient funds with any trustee under any trusted indenture, et cetera, to redeem all outstanding bonds no later than 10 a.m. December 21st. Section 3, redemption notice. The authority shall, if applicable, immediately notify any trustee under any trust indenture of its intent to redeem all outstanding sewer revenue bonds or so forth. And basically, that means basically the authority is going to have to take necessary steps to notify the various agencies that they have debt instruments with. Section 4, the authority shall prepare and execute an inventory of all assets in the authority, turn over control of any and all bank accounts and funds in its possession or control to South Strabane Township no later than 10 a.m. on December 21st, 2021. The authority shall then promptly convey all of its documents, records, and remaining assets to the township, be accomplished no later than 10 a.m. on December 21st. These documents shall include but not be limited to contracts, studies, plans, correspondence, letters of credit, financial records, drawings, so forth. Section 5, prohibited action. The authority is prohibited from taking any action or expending any funds related to its expansion of the sanitary sewer system. Section 6, the authority shall cooperate with the township to the fullest extent possible, so that the transition in ownership, control, and operation of the sewer collection system can be accomplished without any adverse impact to its competitors. The authority, section 7, shall be prohibited from engaging in any conduct or expending any money, so forth, directly or indirectly for any purpose other than accomplish the direction of this resolution. All funds and assets be turned over to the authority be turned over to the township. The responsibility in the future of updated Act 537 plan shall be the responsibility of the township. Those 9 paragraphs are the significant aspect of the resolution itself.
Thank you, Mr. Schmidt. So a motion, please.
I'll make that motion.
Thanks, Mr. Murphy. Need a second?
I'll second it.
Thanks, Mr. Lukatich. Any further discussion?
I have a question. That date, we have very few things. We have the CD, our checking account is down at Cipher and Cipher. This is Christmas coming up, and I am so far behind the 8 ball. You know, if this is the week after Christmas, before New Year's, that's fine. But I have a major dog show coming up in a few days, and I have worked all year with my dog to have one day, the only day in 30 years I've left my farm. And that is my priority right now. None of you men had the courtesy to come to any member of our board with this, and I just find that horrifying. And I think that that's what the public, the voters, need to know, how you've conducted this and at the holidays. I don't think you should be very proud of yourselves right now. I'm very ashamed. Not of me and not of our board, but the way this has been handled. This is inexcusable.
Thank you.
So our board could resign now, and then you guys could figure it out. But you didn't think about that, Mr. Maple.
Understand the concept.
Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion, those opposed, say no. Motion carries 5-0. Under B1, motion to award the Menful Road, we're going to, I'm asking for a motion to table that item.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you. I need a second, please.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Okay. Letter C, motion approved the proposed 2022 annual budget. Brandon, would just give the highlights of that, because we were at pretty well.
Sure.
We passed the tentative budget.
So this first sentence here, the final annual budget for the fiscal year starting January 1st and ending December 31st, 2022. In the amount of $6,521,853. plus $524,335 in interfund transfers. The liquid fuels fund is in the amount of $589,388. The budget was compiled with no increase in real estate tax for 2022 and is maintained at 1.1 mils. Also, the final budget is supported by the implementation of a fire hydrant assessment fee on those properties within a certain distance from a fire hydrant. The purpose of this fee is to offset costs for fire services and reflect a user fee strategy when providing services.
Okay. Anything else you want to say? Any other statements? Okay, thank you very much. In a motion, please, to pass the budget.
I'll make that motion, just a question on the fire hydrant assessment. When will that be ready? Because
It'll be ready, we're process getting someone to do it. I talked to Sue Sonneborn. She wants some information. Her husband has ALS, but I did talk to her last week.
You're making a motion, Mr. Murphy?
yeah.
Okay, I need a second, please. I'll second it. Now we discussed, don't you? You want to discuss it now?
Yeah, I just was curious on the fire hydrant tax on.
When's it going to be enacted or?
That'll be enacted before the property tax bills go out.
Shouldn't take her much time. She wants information about different location facilities.
Yeah, so those will show up on resident tax bills when they come out.
You expect it to be normal?
I do. I expect anywhere from between $15 to $20.
Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye. Opposed?
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to vote no due to the fact I oppose the $18,000 per year salary increase for the police chief, which is included in the budget.
Okay, thank you. Motion carries 4-1. Thank you. Let's move on to letter D. Motion to adopt an ordinance amending the township non-uniform pension plan administered by the Pennsylvania Municipal Retirement System, agreed to be bound by all provision of the Pennsylvania Municipal Retirement Law as amended and as applicable to member municipalities. Mr. Stanley, you got a briefing on that?
This amendment is required by PMRS and is a restatement of the existing pension benefit, so no changes to benefits. That simply defined full-time employees and identifies the applicable bargaining unit. More specifically, this amendment also applies to employees hired on or before December 31st, 2005, because these employees are not required to contribute to the plan and allows them to make additional contributions. And it also applies to employees hired on or after January 1st, 2006, because these employees are required to contribute 1% to the plan and allows them to make additional contributions.
Chairman. No. Fine.
Okay, need a motion to approve. Thank you, Mr. Murphy. I need a second, please.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Mr. Luke. Any further discussion on it? All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Russ?
Aye.
Thank you. All those opposed, please indicate by saying no. Motion carries 5-0. Thank you. Letter E, motion to adopt an ordinance amending the township's fire pension plan administered by the Pennsylvania Municipal Retirement System, agreeing to be bound by all provisions of the Pennsylvania Municipal Retirement Law as amended and as applicable to member municipalities. Mr. Stanley, briefing.
This amendment is required by PMRS as well, and is a restatement of the existing pension benefits, and no changes to benefits that simply define full-time employees and identified the applicable bargaining unit. More specifically, it also applies to all full-time firefighters and allows them to make additional contributions if they so desire. The minimum required contribution for firefighters is currently 5% of their base wages.
Okay, thank you. Need a motion, please.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Mr. Luke.
Second.
Thanks, Mr. Murphy. Any discussion on the matter? All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Russ. Motion carries 5-0. Letter F, motion authorizing capital purchases for the 2022 calendar year. Stan, anything you want to add to it?
The purpose of this item is just for the board to formally authorize us to move forward with some of the capital that the board just approved pursuant to the budget. So it doesn't negate any type of rules or regulations with purchasing, but just allows us to go through, start processing things and getting things in a timely order. Some of those things include the fixed asset register we want to do, manifold street bank restoration project, new public works truck, electrical with the cold storage building, park pavilion maintenance, the community dog park, 2 new squad cars and unmarked squad cars, and intersection cameras with the police department, and several sets of fire turnouts.
Need a motion, please.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Mr. Murphy. Second, please.
I'll second.
Thanks, Mr. Lukadich. Any discussion on the matter? All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye. Okay, Russ. Okay, thanks, Russ. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Letter G, motion to appoint a full-time code enforcement officer, building inspector. Mr. Stanek.
So we have in front of us, we've interviewed 4 individuals throughout our code enforcement recruitment process, code enforcement / building plan reviewer and inspector. And Troy Lucas, we would recommend for the board to appoint a salary of $50,000 for a period of time until those building certifications can be met, and increase in salary to 57.
Need a motion, please.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Murphy. Second.
I'll second.
Thank you, Mr. Lukadich. Any further discussion on the matter? All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Thanks, Russ. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Letter H, motion to appoint Roger Shaw as a member of the Green Team. Your motion, please.
So
Move to
moved.
approve. Second.
Thanks. Okay, second. Thank you, Mr. Burns. Murphy first. All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Opposed? No, no no's. Motion carries 5-0. Okay, we're adding something to the agenda here. I need a motion to add to the agenda, the hiring of a professional firefighter.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Mr. Lucas.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Murphy. Any discussion on the matter? All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Did everyone respond to that? That's a roll call. I didn't hear everybody.
And this would be a motion to hire Kenneth
No,
Crooks.
no, motion
no,
to
no.
add to the agenda, is Act 65.
We're at the event. I need
Okay.
I need to hear everybody.
Mr. Burns.
Aye.
Thank you.
Mr. Grego. Mr. Lukatich.
Yes.
Mr. Murphy.
Yes.
Chair Weber.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Motion carries 5-0 to add to the agenda. Now, the motion in relationship to that, motion to hire, who we hiring? What's the name?
Name is Kenneth Crooks.
Kenneth Crooks as a township professional firefighter pursuant to the current collective bargaining agreement.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Murphy.
Second.
Thank you, Mr. Lukatich. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Russ. Motion carries 5-0 to hire the firefighter. I need a motion to reconvene this meeting on Tuesday, 12/21/21 at 10 a.m.
So moved.
Thank you, thank you, Mr. Lukatich. All those in favor of the motion, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Motion carries 5-0. And this concludes our
What time are we having?
10 a.m.
10
Yeah, 10 a.m. This concludes our meeting for this evening. Thank you for attending, everyone.
A copy of that resolution.